Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel where today we're going to be putting this BMW E60 rear subframe into this Volvo 242. Alright, I'm Snad. I'm editing this a year after I actually filmed and installed the subframe in the car. I'm missing a lot of footage from that. I don't know why, for whatever reason. It's just not here. So, I've dealt with what I've got. The video's gonna be a little bit weird. Some of the cuts and stuff are gonna be bizarre just because we are missing footage from the actual build. So there's a lot of big gaps in this. I'm trying to do better for the next video. Just wanted to make a point about that while you see me tear the rear axle out of this thing. It's not really that interesting to watch, so I figured I'd just put a voiceover here and let you guys kind of know why some of the editing in this is just a bit weird. Anyways, I've almost got this axle out, so I'm going to get you guys back to me a year ago. Alright, where did we finish this off last night? Oh, right, a giant fucking mess. So we have the old diff out. We got the new one just kind of lightly set in here. Can we just say how incredibly perfect this is? Right at the back there, we got to clear in some stuff. So I think we're going to start by just popping these out today. And then we're going to get to cutting some stuff out. We'll just take out some of the last little remaining odds and ends in here. Get it all cleaned up, ready for this absolutely beautiful subframe to go in here and figure out our final spacing on it all. Alright, so I've got all the stuff removed from these arches here. Now I gotta trim out all this stuff. I think this piece I'm gonna just drill the spot welds out and remove. It's one of the gas tank mounts. And then for this, I'm just gonna cut it kind of like right here and just run it straight across, kind of like that. We'll straighten out the line and follow it, chop it off. We'll build a plate, we'll weld it up there, and then you've got a cross member that'll work here. Now, bear with me while I talk a little bit of automotive nerd crap as to why we actually decided to swap this rear axle out in the first place. I mean, it ran, drove fine, hell, it even did a good old one-tire fire, which is awesome. However, that isn't enough for what we want to do with this car. I mean, the Volvo isn't correct without being at least a little bit insane now, is it? Now, to address exactly why we're swapping the axle, we have two main reasons as to why. Number one is that the factory 70s Volvo diff is not rated for the power that we plan to push through this. If we get anywhere even close to our goal of 500 wheel horsepower on low boost, the first time we goose it, this axle is just going to explode everywhere. I mean, hell, it was the front Jeep axle for like the past 50 years and is meant for Jeeps and Volvo station wagons. It's not exactly a major powerhouse right here. Reason number two that we have decided to ditch our beloved tractor axle is that it's a live axle, and the BMW subframe that we have installed in the car is a independent rear suspension. That gives us a few key advantages in terms of unsprung weight and handling characteristics. Unsprung weight is not really something I'm super qualified to chat about, neither is the handling characteristics. I'm going to give you kind of a Spark Notes version of it. The unsprung weight is basically how much weight of the vehicle is not supported by the suspension. The lower the unsprung weight, the better. That's why we moved things like RPF 1s and aftermarket wheels and tires, because they weigh a lot less and they help to increase the response out of all the suspension. It's just a lot less load on the suspension. It helps to keep the car a lot more planted and a lot more stable. Another reason that the handling is improved, aside from unsprung weight, is that in an independent rear suspension setup, both rear wheels can move independently of each other. So if there's a big bump on one side, it's not transferred to the other side. That means we can keep more tire in contact with the ground at all points in time. More tire on the ground, it means more grip, which means we can go faster. Now, there are sway bars and a variety of other factors and parts in specific conditions that can change which is better or worse between the two systems, a live axle or an independent rear suspension setup. Which is better or worse, that's up to discussion. If you want to go argue it that I've ruined the car, go into the comments, put your comment there, feed the algorithm. Now, back to me about a year ago when I've just chopped off some of the frame rail in this thing to fit the new subframe in place.
Alright, got that little triangular piece all cut out. This big gabagoo that just kind of sat up in there. So we're going to have to build a plate for that. I think I'm just going to leave that section, grind all this down flat, weld it all up, and then seal this back up. Give it a quick coat of paint and we should be good. But before that, let's see if the diff fits and if we got to do any more cutting. Now when I say there is no way I could have planned this kind of a fitment in this car, I mean it. I took a total gamble on this suspension setup, I'm not gonna lie. I knew the BMW E60 suspension, it's all contained within the subframe aside from the shocks, so I decided to take a gamble on it. I picked that subframe up for 200 bucks at Pick and Pull, gave it a coat of paint, and here we are. It's totally gonna work. We're gonna have to build a couple little mounting tabs there, and then up in here we'll have to build some shock towers. But oh my god, it fits absolutely perfect. But for now, I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to just weld up that plate tonight, and I will rejoin you tomorrow where we will get this thing bolted into the car. Hide the sins of my welding. Okay, it's been quite some time since I left the camera on here. We're still working on this rear subframe. Here's where we're at currently. I've built some mounts for this subframe. They look like they were welded in by Helen Keller. So I think we're going to start by grinding those down, hitting them with a coat of paint. I think we're just going to be installing the subframe straight after that. And from there we're going to be seeing what we need to do to make some shocks fit and see kind of where our wheels are going to sit on this. Okay, turning our attention away from these like mounting points on the frame rails here in the body of the car, moving back onto the subframe itself. We are going to be turning that pile of hardware, miscellaneous arms, and the spindles and bolting it all back together to this subframe to make it one unit before we throw it back in the car. I feel it's just going to be a little easier to put it together on the floor here than when it's all bolted up in there. It's really nothing too special. I did disassemble it like a year and a half ago, so I hope all the hardware is there. It should be. It's everything I could find for it, so let's get into it. As I toiled away in the cold garage, I began to get quite excited as we were finally making what I felt was real, actual progress on the car. Bolt by bolt, assembling the subframe, loosely bringing weeks of measurement, cutting, grinding, and painting to a close. Oh god, so much painting. Finally, with the subframe together, we could finally see what it actually looked like in car. I don't think this is any lighter than the factory setup. I ain't gonna lie. I think this is quite a bit heavier than our old live axle. All right. Fucking smacking shit. It was big and heavy and awkward. Why is that side so much droopier than that side? The fuck? Yeah. Oh, fuck. He's so sketchy, man. Why do I do things the worst fucking way possible? Every goddamn time. Am I incapable of doing something in a non-horrifying manner? Yeah. Bolts, 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 bolts. There's a nut here too. There it is. I don't know where my ratchet went, so I'm inserting this fucking wrench. And yes, this is a stack of washers on this bolt, because otherwise it hits the frame rail. Because I am an idiot. And I didn't measure properly when I set this up. And so now I get to deal with a fucking colossal amount of hardware. Oh, my ratchet! I found it! It's over here. I'm just a moron. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. That's a fucking BMW subframe into the crustiest 1977 Volvo 240 in the goddamn country. Holy shit. And it fits absolutely perfectly. We do need to run more wheel spacer on this. So I did end up actually putting this side on previously just to mock it up with... Oh, my tire has disappeared. And currently the wheel sticks out to about like here. But we need more spacer, otherwise we're going to struggle to clear the shocks. Now, speaking of shocks. Now this is a factory BMW E65 series rear shock. And it's about 2 feet and change long. They're a bit long. We've got roughly 18 inches between the shock mount and the top of the inner fender liner there. So that means we either gotta increase the height of that about 6 inches and build some custom shock tower, or what'll actually happen, because this is an unrealistic goal. They suck, right? Can't do nothing with them. Those are broken. They're worn out anyways. The spring is broken on it. The spring rate is all kinds of wrong for a car that's gonna weigh like, I don't know, 2/3 of what a actual 5 Series weighs. So we are going to be moving on to a cantilever suspension system. I've already started work on that, but that's gonna have to wait till next time. Now, if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to follow along with the rest of this build and many other equally wild builds, such as the 2 vehicles that we were sitting on earlier in the video. Before we can do that, we need to test the subframe, make sure it actually works and is able to support the car itself. As you can see, got the diff here, made contact. Bingo, car is off the jack stands. It is being supported by those mounts. It's not touching there. This can be all wiggled loosey-goosey around. This is adequately strong enough if we're moving it around the block anyways. We'll probably stick a little gusset here, little gusset in there, make it just extra secure just to be safe rather than sorry. But for now, this is more than an adequate setup. Now, with all that taken care of, it's time to take a look at what we actually accomplished today. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. We'll work on something a little different later.